My presentation will be about Mineral King Elementary. This was the elementary school I attended the longest, and I attended it from 3rd grade to 6th grade. Mineral King Elementary is in Visalia. It is located on the corner of Noble and Kauai. Right across the street from Mineral King Elementary is Highway 198. The school initially opened in 1980. It initially had grades kindergarten through 8th, and it currently has grades pre-K all the way through 6th grade. It's in the eastern side of Visalia, and it is currently surrounded by a significant amount of housing developments. The school itself is being renovated as it was very outdated. Classrooms used to have a huge wall that was basically just windows, and all the classrooms are being remodeled so that they only have 2 small windows. There are 4 playgrounds. There's the pre-K playground, the kindergarten playground. There's one for grades 1st through 3rd, and another one for grades 4th through 6th. They installed a very large swing set a few years ago that has 10 swing sets, and all the students love. The school is in very good condition and well maintained according to state reports. So in these images, you see most of what you will be able to see of the school if you drive by, because the other areas are surrounded by trees. So you see the teacher's parking lot. You're able to see the multi-purpose room right behind the flag. And on the left, you will see the classrooms that will be grades 4 through 6. And to the right, which you're not able to see, there is the main office, and then there's kindergarten, preschool, and then grades 1st through 3rd towards the back. On the image to the right side, I included a picture of the pre-K. Again, you're not able to see very much because the entire school is surrounded by trees in the front, but you're able to see the playground. This is fenced in all on its own, and pre-K has its own entrance and exit, which makes it easier since they do enter a little bit later and get out a little bit earlier than the other grades. So in the top left corner, this is the front of the school. As you can see, there's lots of beautiful trees for the students. The top right corner actually has pictures of the garden that was created for students in 1st grade to grow sunflowers and other plants for their plant life cycle project. Then in the bottom left corner, there's the bridge that was redesigned to make it more friendly for disabled people. Students are able to use it and get to school really fast because the bridge ends right next to the school. Then in the bottom right corner, you are able to see the playground that is for 1st grade all the way to 3rd grade, as well the kind of orangey classrooms in the back. Those are the portable classrooms where the teachers and students whose classrooms are currently being redesigned are using. Mineral King Elementary is located in a residential neighborhood that is surrounded by mainly single house families and one 4-unit apartment. In the past years, there have been a significant amount of housing developments near the school, which has increased the school population. The houses that surround the school range from being over 50 years old to just a few weeks old. There is also a bridge for students to be able to cross over the highway to make it faster for students who walk to school, and it was rebuilt roughly 10 years ago due to safety concerns. So in the top left image, you're able to see some of the older homes from the area. These are about 50 years old. Then in the top right corner, you're able to see some of the newer houses. The ones in this image are about a year old, but there's a lot of other ones that are really new right by the area. And in the bottom image, you're able to see a lot that is currently being prepared to build new houses at this very moment. So there are very few things that surround the school that aren't homes. There was a very beautiful park that was installed roughly about 5 years ago. That's maybe a block from the school. The students really enjoy walking to the park to play with friends after school. They have a beautiful play structure, swings, basketball courts. They have ramps for skateboards and tons of grass for them to play soccer, football, and other fun games. There is a small commercial zone that's also about a block from the school. It includes a 7-Eleven, hair salon, Papa Murphy's, donut shop, and a few other businesses. Students often like to stop by the donut shop right before school starts. These images show the 7-Eleven and then the other few businesses that are right by the school that students sometimes go to after school or right before school. There's the 7-Eleven, the Lucky Donuts too, and the Papa Murphy's Pizza that sometimes parents will take their students to get after school so they can bake it at home. These are some images from the park that was recently built. You can see the beautiful play structure on the bottom picture, and on the top picture you're able to see a bit of all the grassy area and all the trees that they have for the kids. On this day, although you can't see it very good, there's about 15 kids just playing baseball. Mineral King Elementary has a student-to-teacher ratio of 24 students for every one teacher, which is slightly higher than the California average of 21 students for every one teacher. There are currently 23 full-time teachers at Mineral King Elementary. One of those teachers is not fully credentialed, and another one of those teachers currently holds a preliminary credential. Mineral King Elementary currently has 597 students. 80 of those students are in kindergarten, 78 are in first grade, 71 students are in second grade, 90 students are in third grade, 95 students are in fourth grade, 91 students are in fifth grade, and there are 92 students in sixth grade. Of the 597 students, 289 of them are female and 308 of them are male students. Student diversity at Mineral King is as follows. There are 457 Hispanic or Latino students. There are 3 American Indian students, 89 white students, 15 Asian students, 12 black students, 3 Filipino students, 1 Native Hawaiian student, and 17 students who are 2 races or more. This shows that a majority of the population in the area is Hispanic or Latino. At Mineral King Elementary, there are a total of 103 English learners, which is roughly 17.3% of the student population at Mineral King Elementary. There are currently 51 students at Mineral King Elementary that have been diagnosed with a disability. Of those 51 students, none of them were at grade level or above in English or math. Compared to students who do not have disability, 60% of non-disabled students were at grade level or above in English, and 7% of those students were at grade level or above in math. So this shows a very significant discrepancy that really needs to be addressed. At Mineral King Elementary, 74.5% or 445 students are socioeconomically disadvantaged. Students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged have lower proficiency in both math and English. And Mineral King is considered a Title I school due to its high level of socioeconomically disadvantaged students. All of the students at the school receive free lunch meals. This is standard for California, but even before it was standard practice, the school ensured that all students received free meals regardless of income to ensure all students had a meal and were ready to learn. Something that was really alarming was that 84 students at Mineral King are chronic absentees. These students typically miss 15 days or more of instruction. They are at far greater risk of falling behind than any other students. Black students had the highest percentage of chronic absenteeism, followed by American Indian students, and then Hispanic and Latino students. Students that were receiving migrant services had a significant absenteeism rate of 28%, and students who were homeless had a chronic absenteeism rate of 20%. This data is from a few years ago because COVID made the data from the last year a little bit odd. And 33 students were suspended at least once in the school year, and no students were expelled. They had no data regarding the race or other factors of the students who were suspended. The Smarter Balanced summative assessments concluded that only 1/3 of students met or exceeded ELA standards, and less than 1/3 met or exceeded math standards. The school performed more poorly than they did in the previous year. They fell 5% in English and almost 2% in math. The school performed more poorly than the rest of the district. White and Hispanic students performed at nearly the same rates. Hispanics had a slight percentage higher in English standards than white students, and white students had a slight percentage above other students in math standards. After reviewing all the data and information available on Mineral King Elementary School, there were a few things that surprised me. The first one being the number of English language learners. I did expect there to be a high number of them, but not nearly as high as the numbers I saw. I was also really surprised by the number of chronic absentees at this school. I believe that this is really affecting their academic performance, and there's something that needs to be done to help fix this. I was not surprised by the high number of Hispanic and Latino students in the area. It's given the area it's in, there's just a high population of them there, so of course the students would be the same. Again, also not surprised by how many students were socioeconomically disadvantaged given the area, although that number has improved a bit with the new housing developments in the area. And I quite honestly wasn't too shocked by the low test scores. I did expect them to be a bit higher, but again, given the area and often the lack of resources that parents have, it's just something that we typically see. A few questions that I have after seeing all this information is, what action can we take to improve student academic performance and their school attendance? I feel like if we can improve school attendance, that will partially help with their academic performance. And I also want to know the demographics of the students that were suspended. Although we often don't want to admit it, there are groups of students that are unfairly and harshly punished in schools, which leads to a disproportionate number of students of color being suspended. I think this data really allowed me to better understand the students and their needs at this particular school. Knowing the high rates of socioeconomic disadvantage at this school also would have or will allow me to understand why these students may not always have the materials they need and be prepared for school. So I think that will, as a teacher, make me be prepared to have those supplies ready for them so that they are not at a disadvantage in my classroom. I think it also allows me to understand the academic needs of the school and where my attention and focus needs to be as a teacher to help them reach their goals. and it just allows me to plan for how I will be helping the students and the school.